I'm Sam Cunnington, a Global Product Manager at Ambu. I'm going to be talking to you today about our supraglottic airway range, specifically our AuraGain second generation laryngeal mask. So supraglottic airways, they're typically classified as either first generation or second generation devices. As a very high level overview, first generation devices typically consist of an airway tube through which the patient is ventilated. They may also feature a mechanism by which a seal is established inside the patient's anatomy, and this might be an inflatable mask. Our Aura Once and Aura Straight devices are examples of first generation products. In comparison, the design of second generation devices incorporates additional safety features which are intended to provide improved levels of protection against aspiration. And they're also associated with higher seal pressures to allow for ventilation at higher airway pressures, and they may also feature an integrated bite block to protect against airway occlusion. The Ambu AuraGain is a great example of a second generation supraglottic airway. So if we take a look at the Ambu AuraGain in a little bit more detail, we'll start at the top of the device. And at the top of the product, we do have a 15mm connector. And this is a standard size, which allows for connection to things like a breathing circuit, a filter, or other airway accessories. Then if we look next to the airway connector, we'll look at the gastric channel. And the gastric channel facilitates the easy passage of a gastric tube for the purposes of decompression of the stomach and suctioning of any gastric contents that may be regurgitated. We do have a gastric channel on all sizes of the AuraGain, and this ranges from 6 French gauge all the way up to 16 French gauge. Then if we look at the back section of the airway tube, we have the maximum tracheal tube size for when the device is used as a conduit for intubation. Then if we flip the device round, we have the maximum gastric tube. For this size 3, the maximum size is a 16 French gauge. And at this point, we also have an integrated bite block. And this bite block is designed to protect against the patient biting down on the device, which could occlude the airway. Now, if we move to the back of the cuff, we have these markings here. The device is single use only, but these markings here are also designed to be used for navigational purposes when the device is used as a conduit for intubation. So when the flexible scope is passed through the airway lumen, these navigational markings will become visible and assist in the guidance of the flexible scope towards the vocal cords. Next, we have the inflatable cuff. So the inflatable cuff is made of a very thin PVC material. It can establish a seal with a very low cuff pressure to minimize the risk of any compression trauma. Also with the inflatable cuff, you have the flexibility of being able to adjust the seal. So through inflation or deflation of the cuff, you can adjust the seal that it establishes. Then moving to the tip of the product, we have the opening of the gastric channel. And when appropriately positioned, this is designed to sit in the esophageal opening. So any regurgitated gastric contents, instead of pooling around the cuff, it can flow through the gastric channel up and away from the trachea to limit the risk of aspiration occurring. So that's what we have with the Ambu AuraGain.